Hey, hello, welcome to the Sorare Lounge, courtesy of the Sorare Thursday Club. Sante, I am Ricky, aka the Sorare Mamba, and I am joined, as always, by my glamorous co-host and disgraced play sharper Everton expert and duck lover, DawNado, aka Johnny. How are you this evening, young man?
I'm good. I'd like to be known as El DawNado for tonight, as I've come as a Mexican cartel. With this moustache. But yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. Ready to talk all things announcement. There's been some big news, isn't there? But yeah, I'm all good, mate. How are you? How's your arm? Is it fixed yet? Have they sorted it?
Still broken. Still broken.
Oh,
Fortunately,
right.
I've got this extremely large Man United shirt, which fits nicely over everything.
I'm surprised you want to wear that at the moment, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's why I've put the camera low enough so you can't actually see the badge. So it just looks like a snazzy green shirt, really.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not been an enjoyable 24 hours, but you know, what are you going to do? In the middle of midweek, Europa Thursdays, as I like to call them. Anything going well for you? Any chances, any rewards? Anything to look forward to for tomorrow?
No, I had quite a lot of limited goalkeepers, but they all fell flat on their face, and that sort of set me behind the eight ball straight off the bat, really. And I've had a lot of midweek rotation in limited. A couple of big scores. I probably did have a very good score if I put the right players together. I did have some dark greens across the board, but yeah, nothing too exciting. I need about an 85-ish from Pedro Gonçalves to get a low E threshold. So that's about as exciting as I get. He has scored in the first half, so you never know. The only other thing that's happened for me is that I've increased my lowest 270 rare score by about 60 points this midweek. So it's taken me up about 150 places roughly, depending on how the 8 o'clock games go. But yeah, so that's quite good. I'm close to getting to tier 2 prizes for the whole month-long competition, and that's as long as I can get a good team out this weekend. I need a 4th score because currently I've only got 3 good ones. So yeah, other than that, nothing really. Bit of a dearth of a week, but I should get some coins so I can do a donation to Movember.
Lovely. Oh yeah, I need a Fabianski 85 or something ridiculous like that to get some ETH. Been a pretty piss poor couple of game weeks for me, but you know, we move on. The weekend
can't win it all, can we? Can't win it all.
Looks like I got a basketball tier 2 coming tomorrow, and I know how little you care about basketball, but maybe I'll do a TikTok about it and make you watch it. Shaquille O'Neal, yeah. Dennis Rodman. I'll show you what I get. I'm sure you'll be really excited.
Is it a tier 2 rare or limited?
Limited.
Okay, well,
Some good names in there.
They've got some good value in the NBA at the moment. There seems to be a bit of a buzz about it.
Yeah, the new season, like the in-season tournament, which I think is a terrible name by the NBA.
Yeah,
in-season tournament.
That's the actual NBA name.
Yeah, it's called the in-season tournament. I don't really, not really sold on it. But, you know, they get paid the money. They know what they're doing. But yeah, bit bland. You know, it's nothing like the Carabao Cup
or something, couldn't it? Like the in-season cup, or I don't know. It's a bit of a dull name. Maybe that's just first iteration. It's like when Washington Redskins changed to being the Washington football team before they had their full name. You know, maybe they'll improve it next year. But
like you said, it's drawn a lot of attention to new season cards because you need new season cards to participate. You need 3 to put into your limited team, say, which means that the limited market for new season cards, they're like double the price of the old season cards, which leads nicely onto, you know, what we're going to talk about a bit later on. Yeah. You need new season cards for another upcoming tournament. So it seems to have been a little idea that they've latched onto, but we'll get to that. Obviously, there was that huge announcement to dissect, which we'll go through. I'm sure everyone's heard about 19 people's views on it by now, but, you know, maybe ours will be ever so slightly different. Before we get to that, you know, there's a few bits of news close to our heart. Nigel Pearson has finally been relieved of duty at Bristol City. Yeah. I, for one, am extremely excited. I get to go to Ashton Gate and not watch a team park the bus for the second half of every single game. We have a man in called Liam Manning. Manning.
Manning.
Ever heard of Liam Manning before?
I'll be honest, I have not, but apparently, there's been some good words said about him. I think he's done pretty well at his previous clubs in league. I think it's League One. He's mainly applied his trade, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, he's young. He's quite young, isn't he? So hopefully, he'll bring in a bit of youth and exuberance into them. Because Nigel, obviously, I'm not a City fan. You are, but Nigel Pearson was certainly not full of energy and. Good at G'ing them all up, I don't think. And they do have a good squad, I think, Bristol City. They've got some good young players, haven't they? So, maybe it'll work out. But...
Yeah, he's like 38. I think he's come from Oxford. He was at MK Dons before. He looks like a young Eddie Howe, maybe. The next coming of Eddie Howe.
Maybe.
Yeah, as long as he plays some slightly more attractive football than Nigel Pearson. So that was one small positive for me. Not all Bristol City fans think the same, but
yeah.
Apart from that, Man United have turned into the new Everton. Finally looked good for 25 minutes of the Champions League game. Some of the scores were looking quite nice. 25 minutes in, Onana, clean sheet. Højlund had his goal. I think it was ticking along nicely. I had Dalot. It was all looking quite good for a Man United stack. And then Rashford stood on someone's ankle in super slow-mo. It was a red card. And then the world came tumbling down and we conceded 4. Rodri didn't play as well. So Man City also completed the entire Manchester screwing over my SO5 teams. Yeah, bit of a crapper overall. The whole city of Manchester has rallied against me.
It was pretty glorious, to be honest. I didn't watch the game, but I do really enjoy Man United fans losing their shit because they had it so good for so long. Like my whole childhood growing up for football was Man United being the best team. Obviously teams had a little go like Arsenal and Chelsea, but Man United were the constant, weren't they? They were. So, like you said earlier, it's been 24 hours of hurt. Like, imagine having 24 years of hurt, mate. Imagine supporting Everton. But, I do get it. It's bad. I even heard on one of our WhatsApp groups the other day, didn't we? We had a mate of ours who supported Newcastle, and he was saying he actually feels sorry for Man United. I was like, fuck off. Don't feel sorry for him, mate. Like, they're still not going to get relegated and still won billions of trophies. I wouldn't feel sorry for him. But it is very joyous to see them lose 4-3. And did you see the Copenhagen manager came out and went, but this is by far the worst we've played in the entire group stages so far, and we won. Just a massive kick in the teeth. But, on a serious note, Man United... have something which they're showing a lot at the moment, which Everton have shown a lot in the last 3 or 4 years, which is they're just so weak mentally. Like as soon as something goes slightly against, like the Rashford thing, which, could be argued for and against a red card. I kind of think it was a red card personally. You've got to be more careful. I know he's only trying to protect the ball, but they just crippled after that, didn't they? They've just got no characters in the team. It doesn't seem to. And then Bruno Fernandes is just going, it's like Johnny Daw on the pitch, moaning about everything.
I think, I think they're a tough stack to own at the moment as well on Sorare because the defence has so many injuries. It's so up in the air. Like you're going to get Harry Maguire in and Johnny Evans, and
Johnny Evans went off injured, didn't he? And
Casemiro and Varane look like they're ready for Saudi Arabia now. They look checked out. So it's really where do you go? Mason Mount hasn't started. Apart from, I think Onana has started to look good. Højlund started to look good. Bruno's obviously a good card. His unique went today. I think Bellemare finally got one over the line and got the Bruno unique in.
Nice.
I thought he lost out on the Giannis unique earlier on.
I was going to say,
I think 69 finally got one in.
Did he? Nice. What do you think? Nigel Pearson's the next Man United manager? Then is that what we're saying?
No, fortunately.
I think Ten Hag will get sacked. I mean, there's going to be some changes coming, right? When
evening, buddy.
The evening. There's going to be some changes coming, obviously, when the new ownership comes in, which is looking like it's progressing. I think they've announced they're going to change the whole, behind the scenes and everything. Everything's going to change. Yeah,
I don't believe it, and I don't think he'll get sacked, and I don't think much will change very quickly.
You've got to blame the players, surely. You can't just keep blaming the managers. It's the players constantly letting you down.
He's got a lot of injuries. It is tough when your back line turns into that from what it was predicted to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, Luke Shaw would be nice to get back. Got injured the day after I bought him, I think, on Sorare in the first game he played for me. So it'd be nice to get a bit of Luke Shaw back. But anyway, let's stop talking about Man United. It's only going to make me depressed for the rest of the show. Let's talk about Everton instead, your favourite subject. The weekly Everton. The weekly Everton. We're obviously doing our Mo Rare Thursday Club, Movember. We're donating to the pot for charity. And I said, how can we raise a couple of ideas, a couple of bits of money, one-on-one? So I thought we'd have a little weekly Everton contest where you will pick an Everton stack, your 5 Everton players for the weekend, and then I will pick a random team from around the world with a loose connection to something we've done in the last week, pick a stack from them, and we'll battle off. Whoever has the most points, the other one has to put a donation into the pot for failing. All right.
Cool. So, sounds good to me. And the Sorare bomb. Let's just put that in as well.
Okay, and a Sorare bomb and a drink and a donation. Money and drink, the finest things in the world. The weekly Everton, week 1. Which 5 Everton players are you going to put up in the competition?
Okay, so I love talking about Everton. I just know, I don't have to do any research. I just know it all already.
This is why I put the weekly Everton in, because it gives you your fix.
And I say I know it all already. I didn't know Onana had a calf injury, though. So, fuck that up, didn't I?
Ruined everyone.
Yeah, okay, so here we go. This is my Everton stack. If it loads. Nope, that's not my Everton stack. That's my other Everton stack. This is my Everton stack in the Champion Europe. So, Pickford in goal, as we can all agree. Pickford
solid start.
Yeah, solid. Some people think he's got short arms, but he doesn't. He has very good arms, and he loves getting the rave on. So get him in your teams. He's also got very low cap at the moment. He's about 46, and he does have the potential of a cheeky penalty save, and, he's always got that potential. We've been keeping clean sheets recently.
I have actually got his new season card as well, so he'll be part of my winter $500,000 win.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so I've changed this slightly to when we discussed this earlier, because there has been a Sean Dyche press conference today, and he mentioned a slight Jared Branthwaite knock. I think he will still play. He's been pitched to training today. So I was going to have a defensive stack of Branthwaite, Tarkowski, and Pickford, but I've taken Branthwaite out and put Mikalenko because he's a banker at the back, and he's actually in very good form at the moment. If we look at his previous scores, is that going to load?
I remember didn't you call him one of the worst defenders you've ever had last season?
I mean, that was probably in the middle of losing like 8 games in a row, so who knows what I say in that time. But he's not great, but he has been very good the last 10 games. And, I struggle to think anyone looks good when we're so bad in the last 2 years. So he's had a tough time, but he's looking a lot better. This is ever going to freaking load.
Is this your AOL dial-up again?
Yeah, AOL dial-up. So you look at these last 5 games. Obviously, 2 of them are for Ukraine. He's got 100 there and a 69 for Ukraine. But since then, for Everton as well, he's got a 50 without a clean sheet, losing 2-0, a 74 with a clean sheet, and a 70 without a clean sheet against Brighton, where he scored. He's in good form. He's looking pretty solid, to be honest with you. So I'm putting him in instead of Branthwaite into our little cheeky stack.
After being the play sharper Everton expert, we should be able to take your word of these things. But you did let everyone down last week, didn't you? For anyone that didn't watch Tuesday's show, pitched Onana to start. He was not in the squad, and he let a lot of people down. Caused a lot of chaos, including myself.
He let me down too, and nobody knew he had an injury. The only person who knew was Sean Dyche and the coaching staff, and they decided to not let anyone know. So thanks for that. But yes, I did fuck it up. Anyway, on to my next player. I'm going to go straight to the defender here. So James Tarkowski. Don't need to mention him too much. I've talked to him about a lot, but he loves a clearance off the line. I do think, Palace are obviously good, but they're actually better away from home, Palace, and we're better away from home as well, and we're playing Palace away. I do think we'll do okay, and at the moment we do seem to be pretty solid defensively. We only conceded to Brighton on the weekend due to a very unfortunate deflection off Ashley Young. I mean, they had a lot of possession against us, but they didn't really create too many clear-cut chances. We're looking strong. And I'm banking with that goalkeeper double defender stack. We get a clean sheet. I'm hoping for a 0-0, 1-0, something like that.
Okay.
Okay. So on to midfield, James Garner. So my choices here were James Garner, Decore, or Onana. I'd like to put Onana in, but there is still a slight doubt. He is back in training, full training. He posted, Everton Twitter posted multiple photos of him today doing like the strong poses and stuff, like he's fit. Basically him saying he's fit, I reckon. I think he will play, but it's just that slight risk, and I don't want to have to do a Sorare bomb and put an extra quid in. So I want it to be you. So I've got my boy James Garner in, takes free kicks from the left-hand corner in game, so has that chance for decisive. Been playing very well this season so far. Solid player, and he's looking good so far. And then, how can you not have an Everton stack? How can you have an Everton stack and not have Dwight McNeil in it as your captain? What a boy. He hasn't started particularly well. He's missing those decisives from his season so far, but his AA game is still strong. He's getting really close to scoring every game at the moment. You can see he's getting frustrated with the fact he hasn't scored. He did miss the start of the season. I think he missed 4 or 5 games at the start of the season, so he's kind of playing like catch up a little bit. But yeah, that's my team looking solid.
Right. Well, yeah, we'll see. If anyone has any suggestions for the team that they want me to put up against him next week, I'm always open to comments or suggestions. Whoever you feel, any good ideas, or if I've made any mistakes in my team, feel free to point it out. But I came up with 2.
Okay.
So I'll give you the choice of 1 or 2. I'll let you pick your own enemy this week.
What, before I have to say it before you've announced who they are?
Yeah.
That would be double jeopardy. Okay, so you've got 2 teams. They're of similar level, right? It's not like Man City and Barcelona.
One's better than the other one, I think.
Okay. Right. I'm going to pick number 2.
Number 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
You could just change it to the best team right now, couldn't you? I mean,
I won't. Hang on, I've got to share my screen. One-handed again, you know. It's a tough time for me.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Window. Okay, so here's what you could have won. So my first choice was Atlas.
Oh, fuck, I should have gone for them. If that can't be the better team.
They would have had a bit of rotation risk, I think, because I don't think they've got anything to play for. So I was quite limited in who I could pick. And then I just went on the next team below them that happened to be on whatever sheet I was looking at. And that is Hajduk Split.
Oh, okay.
So instead, it's Hajduk Split v Everton this week.
Well,
I used Play Sharper, obviously, to see people that looked like they were nailed to start, and the pick scores on Sorare Data, just to make sure that they looked like they were going to play and I hadn't missed like a suspension or something. And the 5 I came up with Ivan Lucic, Filip Juramovic, Mikhail Zappa, Marco Levaja, and Ima Sahiti. Really wish I hadn't decided to try and pronounce all those.
We did a good job there, actually.
Ex-Hertha Berlin player at the back there, which drew me in. I think they're obviously the better choice. I think Atlas have got a good game this week, but yeah. So we will see a bit of Hajduk Split versus Everton. These 5 versus your 5. Loser, lowest overall score, drinks and donates to the pot. And we've also had a shout for next week's of Hanover 96 as well. So provided they've got a game and I could put a team together, we could have a Hanover versus Everton next week.
I like it.
Right.
Okay, well, I'm not going to pretend that I know anything about any of those players, but I'm willing to take them on. You've been Split recently, haven't you? You went a couple of years ago. I mean, beautiful place.
Beautiful place.
Like, other than the fact that they're one of the top 2 teams in Croatia, aren't they? So
yeah.
I'd imagine they're a very good, stackable team. Do they have midweek Europe? They might be playing tonight, so there could be some potential rotation. I don't know.
If there's any errors in my lineup, feel free to tell me, people, in the comments, and I will be allowed to change mine because I am the host and I can do what I want. You're a Play Sharper Everton expert, so you have insider knowledge. I need outsider knowledge. Yeah. But yeah, I like the sound of. Okay, apparently Hanover aren't playing next week, so we can have FC and Andorra instead. Love a bit of second division action. Money and drinks. Everton versus Hajduk Split. How exciting. That was the weekly Everton to get your little fix in. And we've now managed to go 20 minutes before getting to the main point of the actual show. So let's move on to the announcement. And we can talk through what we think.
Is it an announcement, is it?
No one's heard anything about it yet, I doubt. First time of hearing it for everyone. That would be a miracle. But there was obviously the big announcement yesterday. Sorare product update. Main winter season 1 with the Premier League 500k competition. Lots to go through here. We'll get to the Premier League competition by itself, but the first thing that was brought up was fitness and club facilities being knocked on the head.
Yeah.
Not happening anymore. First of all, it was up there. You know, you started at like 10%, didn't you? And then lost fitness and went down. People were moaning about it, which, you know, doesn't say a lot. People do tend to moan in the Twitter sphere. But yeah, I don't think it was positively received. So it was delayed for a while, and now it is absolutely gone. You know,
Yeah.
I saw it. You know, they needed a way to raise extra revenue, and this seemed like a way for people who wanted to put in that bit extra to gain a bit of an edge. But now it seems like they've just sort of thought, maybe we could just sell more cards, come up with more ways to make people buy more cards, like new contests where you need new season cards. But, you know, I think they've just gone down that route of trying to raise money at the moment.
They tried to overcomplicate things a little bit, didn't they? Before they'd really sort of nailed down what their main sort of competitions were. They were still changing things a lot, and then they suddenly brought this like extra layer, which is something you really need. Like, we didn't really know the full deals of it, but it was something that was very important, really, wasn't it? Like the fact that your power could change from 0 to 5%, you know, that easily, and we didn't really know how. Like you said, there is a lot of negative feedback on every single announcement that's ever made, but I don't think I've ever seen so much negative feedback as there was with the fitness thing. It was probably like 75% of people were not kicking off, but just saying like, what is this? What's going on? It's starting in like 2 weeks. You've got given us no info. Like, this could change people's gallery value massively, change their complete structure of how they're investing. I do think it might come back in some form in the future once they've, you know, really got that core of people playing the game, because it does seem to fritter between a lot of people playing and then people leave. Like, once they've got to a level which is a bit more of a mainstay in sort of football, fancy football realms, then I could see this being a thing, because it is something that is people who do Football Manager have to think about, isn't it? And FIFA, you know, fitness-based things. So it has got some merit, I think. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, for me, it's always, I don't want something else to do, because I already spend enough time on Sorare, especially on Fridays and Tuesdays. I don't really need, especially with NBA back now, I'm playing that. I don't really need to have to top up my fitness center and upgrade the bogs in like the gym or whatever. Yeah. It's just not something I want to do. I could see like the FIFA aspect. How could they get another revenue stream in? Some people who just want to make everything convenient or quick and easy. Then yeah, you know, it backtracked very quickly, and I'm not surprised to see it go. But I think we will see some form of add-ons at some point, you know.
I still like the facilities thing. Like, you could just spend some of your coins on your like graphics on your page. Like I know you can currently still, but some better ones, like a stadium or something. Like when you select your teams and it goes to that pitch view,
yeah,
you could buy a better pitch view or a better stadium view, like something like that, which isn't necessarily what club facilities means in this sense. But you know, I don't mind the idea of that.
I think they should have had, you know, cosmetics for a while.
Yeah,
even if it's real money or so coins or more banners, more badges, you know, pitches.
Yeah,
buy yourself a NFT stadium for your club, you know, crap that most people don't want, but some people will churn out a bit of money on because they like, you know, to pimp out their
or manager avatar. There's no manager avatars, is there?
Yeah, exactly. You know, there is options.
Yeah, but anyway, it's been shelved. So let's see what they come up with in the next year. They'll probably come up with something, won't they?
Exactly. So yeah, then they mention aiming for, you know, mobile first experience, which makes sense going forward to a bigger audience, sustainability and rewards, which I guess is building on a lot of like the negative sentiment that you see on social media. My prices are going down, my gallery values going down, etc., etc. And you know, they're quite honest here when they say like we need to sell cards to be sustainable.
I like this bit because I think so many people just want profit for themselves without thinking of the grander picture. Like Sorare needs to be a sustainable model for everyone, for it to exist moving forward for a long time. Like it can't just be a quick, everyone makes a buck and then fuck off sort of jobby, can it? Because otherwise there's going to be a lot of heartache. People are going to lose a lot of money. Like it needs to be sustainable. I like how honest they were in this little sort of paragraph here.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to just be upfront about it. Yeah.
Yeah, the vast majority of people that play the game, I think, know that it has to be like that. But there's a lot of people that just come in for a quick buck, don't they? And just go, "Whoa, I fucking lost 10 grand of value. What's going on?"
Yeah, I think like them drawing like the line in the sand and being honest about it makes it easier to understand what you're doing. And it's a game that you play, and it's not hard to think that you might have to put a little bit of continual investment in for the chance to win on that game. You would do it on many like online games or things like that, don't you? You buy the season passes, or you buy the upgrades, or you
don't get anything for that. You don't get any financial returns for those, do you? Do you win anything on FIFA and whatever it's called? Like you don't win prizes.
Yeah, in the new season you need to buy new stuff. So I do think there's a balancing act between what they initially said of like owning your game, long-term utility, while also giving us reasons to want new shiny stuff, which we'll get onto. It looks like they found a way, which is the Premier League winter competition. We'll get to that afterwards because I've opened up the full bit for that.
Okay.
But Academy rewards update. So just reallocated some awards, aren't they? Less in amateur and then more as you go up.
And they're getting rid of amateur ETH altogether.
Yes.
So you can't win a fiver now, which, I always thought was a bit of a piss take when you had Legends cards. I mean, I was winning them because I had Legends cards, but I thought in the grand scheme of things, like people aren't going to be happy with that, are they? Like those rewards could be better used elsewhere, which is what they've decided, which I agree with. So
I mean, I agree. I won 2 lots of it last weekend. I'm going to win another one this midweek. I don't think it was a good thing,
Yeah, it's like
plugging my Legends cards in and winning $5. It was.
Did you see that chappie on Twitter? I don't know if it made it to your Twitter feed, but like he was kicking.
You mean
off.
my X feed?
X feed, sorry. Yeah, he was kicking off about the fact he bought Legend cards specifically to put them in Academy to win $5 every week, and then he was kicking off because they were getting rid of it, and the people were commenting. I don't know, maybe he was trying to be funny or take the piss or something, but like people were like, "Mate, you bought Legend cards just purely for that reason? That's mad." Because it's kind of like Academy's always been a bit of a like afterthought thing, isn't it? Like, but I guess maybe if you were to do that, but Legend cards cost a lot of money, so I guess
there are some cheap Legends.
Would technically you'd make money over time, wouldn't you? But it's just a hell of a lot of effort to put in.
There were some people that put in decent sides in, not like from their left. It was making sure they put a side of 5 starting players in, or to go for a bit of Academy. And it like I liked winning it. It was nice. It was a nice extra, but it felt pointless, and like those funds should be better allocated because we only have like 3 to 5 teams or whatever anyway to train. So you're already like specifically picking those players. Not like the old days when you sat there and click through 82 teams and it's like, this is bollocks. I hate my entire life. This is the worst thing I've ever done. Now it's like, well, I've got to pick the 20 odd players that I want to train because I actually want them to get XP, because those XP bonuses actually matter now.
Yeah, so my Everton players in it every week.
Yeah, it's I've got no problem with that, and I think it makes sense. This like reallocation of amateurs to lowest, you can only win tier 2s. So, do you like this? Buy a card, and then to kick off, you can win slightly better cards. Or do you like that? Hop on into specialist, win yourself a tier 0. Natural step up. You want to encourage people to move up, don't you? So,
yeah,
that all makes sense to me. I think we got one more week of amateur left, haven't we? Next.
I know. RIP.
I spent 100 coins on a swap today for Premier League amateur to give one more go.
Bless. My amateur Premier League team has gone to absolute shite the last few weeks. Like, it's so crap. I'd be lucky to get 300 points from my squad at the moment. It's awful. Yeah.
Next up, new Cap 220 long format competition. Super Cap. Super Cap goes from 270 to 220. Question one, what do you think of the long format competition? We've had All-Star and then Cap 270.
Yeah.
What do you think so far?
So my answer to question one is I like them. I like them a lot. I always like to try and put a good team in there. And I like the fact that it rewards people that really pay attention, and it's not just like a lucky 1 week thing. You know, obviously I like the lucky 1 week things as well because I do them all the time. But yeah, I like that monthly form of competition, and it's a bit more thought needs to go into them. I like it. But yeah, and I like that it's gone to 220. I think 220 is good because it's means you've got to have that common cards. You've got to really stay on top of your amateur teams and make sure you've got the right players in that you like, and it's not something you can just forget about. Like, that's going to be important to make sure you've, you know, whether you want to put a limited keeper in and get a common, really good outfielder that maybe has come back from injury and he's like going to do way better than his 40 cap. Like, I remember when Florian Wirtz, remember when he'd been injured, so he came in to Bundesliga at the start of last season and his cap was 40, and I was like, right, I'm getting him in straight off the bat. Like, I try and get him into a cap 220 team with a limited keeper if I could. So yeah, I think cap 220 is a good one to have. Yeah.
Where would you rank cap 220? And it's with 70 All-Star in cap 220. Do you think it's the best one, like in terms of suitability for this type of competition?
I mean, yeah, I think so. I like Cap 220. I think it's always been a fun one to enter. I don't like the prize pool in it, but
prizes are shite.
Prizes are shite, but I think the monthly prizes will be slightly better. They're still not great, but you know, I guess it makes sense because technically, if you're winning a card in that, you've probably not had to pay a lot for those players because they're not as good players, right? Because they don't score as well. So in terms of them rewarding people for spending money, like, you're always going to get slightly less rewards for putting less expensive players in a team, aren't you? But
I've liked them so far, these comps. But
I love them, and they always bring me back to the Sorare Data leagues that we used to do, right?
Yeah.
And those were good fun.
My last two highest scores in my last two game weeks have been my Cap 270. Like, I got like a 412 and a 436 or something, and it kind of hurts because you're like, 435 is my best. I could have actually had a prize for the week, a fairly decent prize, and now.
Do you know what it is though? Because what's your fourth? We looked the other day, didn't we? What was your fourth score? It was like 260 or 220 or something low, wasn't it?
Come in, mate. Good luck with work at 4 a.m. Woo!
Oh, nice, bloody
commitment.
Rather you than me. Yes. So your fourth score is quite low, isn't it, when compared to your top three? So you'll make a massive jump up if you can get a good score this weekend. A massive jump. It's
just demoralising your highest score not returning your highest score on the week, not returning a prize.
Yeah. But I reckon you can still get up to tier 1, like, or high tier 2, and I still think they're making these rewards for the monthly comps better. Because when they did the Premier League one and the All-Star one, the tier 2 and tier 3 prizes and that were better than normal tier 2 and tier 3. It's like they sort of put the top half of the tier into that. Do you know what I mean? Like, rather than you getting a crappy card, like, I think you'll end up getting probably a Premier League card or something along those lines.
I think they've been slightly easier to win than I expected to be in the card places. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you need 4 insane scores like to be in the positions at the moment. So, you know, it wasn't my first thought, but now it's becoming like, oh, I'm in the tier 3s, and there's, you know, maybe I should carry it on. It seems to like not have been as closed a shop as I thought it was going to be, with just the big wigs just destroying. They're probably near the top, but it is easier to get into the prize places.
You're a big wig.
Yeah, I'm not a big wig though.
Well, you should wear a wig because I've seen your hair and it's awful.
Yeah. What, you mean my new ginger locks?
Mate, it's getting worse. That ginger and lime green shirt looks so bad together. It's unreal.
No, I never dyed my hair before. I've got broken arm, had cabin fever. It's like, let's go for blonde hair. Turned out ginger. We all make mistakes. Yeah. I'm living with it. I quite like it, actually.
Nah,
new part of my life, all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Cap 270 is really good. I think you can get in the prizes a lot easier than I expected, but then you're not winning a prize every week. That hurts a little bit. But I am excited to see where it goes. And I think Cap 220 is the best one for it, because you can, if you want to do the research, there's cheat codes and zero cost things. You can plug in like a zero cost limited that's coming back into your rare lineup. Manipulating those amateur common goalies for like the limited one is another angle. And
Manuel Neuer, you're Manuel Neuer.
Yeah, Neuer would have been incredible for this. Or it's a bit more research, right? Like hunting down those gems to fit in and fill in that tiny gap. You're not going to have stars in every position. So I think it gives smaller budgets and people willing to invest more time a good chance as well. So I think Cap 220 is a really, really good one for this format. And the prizes were kind of wanking it anyway. So, it
makes sense. I can
I'm
see
not
them
sad to not get my tier 4 in Cap 220 this week, because it was going to be worth 40p anyway.
So a little birdie may have told me, / we're the two birdies, that we may be doing a Cap 220 limited Beat the Boys League as our next competition.
We may indeed. So because that's haven't they?
They've clearly listened to the show, didn't they? I think we kind of liked the idea of the fact that it would make people have to think about their teams, and it wouldn't necessarily need people to have a limited goalkeeper, so it works in that sense. For us too. Yeah.
Moving on, manager progression and ranking. They showed us this snazzy little challenges page. Win 1 limited card reward, win 10 limited card rewards, reach at least 250 points on 10 different occasions. New challenges, manager levels, launching in mid-December. Achievements through Rivals, Collections Pro. I'm starting to like the sound of Rivals as well, or not?
Yeah, I like
more and more I see and hear about it. Do you like this type of thing? I haven't really heard many people talk about this, so I haven't heard many opinions.
I love things like this.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
I love it. I love things like this. Like always when I used to play PlayStation, I'd be trying to complete every little freaking challenge you could.
Get a little side quest. Get me my little elf hat on, my little wizard hat and coat. Gonna go out and do my side quests.
One thing I do have a question about, which you probably don't know the answer to, but does it historically fill them in for you if you've done so? Or has it been...
I was going to ask you that same thing.
Because if it doesn't give me that freaking podium challenge reward after I've just got first place, I will find them and I will kill them.
I think I would want it to historically reward us, but I think that would be the wrong decision. Because some people who've been on it for a very long time are just going to open it up and it's all just going to be complete. You're just going to collect everything and it's going to be done. I think you should all start from zero. I don't think anything should be backdated. I want to go and complete them now.
I agree with you. I annoyingly agree with you. I don't like to agree with you, but I think you are correct in this instance.
And if you're a more established account that's been here for years, knocking around, you've got the big gallery already, then you should be able to knock through a few of them a lot quicker than the smaller one anyway.
Yeah, and that's just a screenshot that black graphic there, isn't it? Right. Yeah. So you can't click on those different sort of things at the top there, can you? What we're thinking those could be. So we got a yellow, red.
Well, so that's rare. That's obviously rare, super rare, unique.
And then what's the little one next? It looks like a star constellation next to the unique one.
This one.
Yeah. What is that?
It's like a tactics board or something.
Tactics
board. I don't know if this will be amateur and it will be locked for us.
Yeah, I guess so.
Maybe this one's Rivals.
Snowflake. I don't know what that is.
Maybe it'd be Rivals or like.
In conclusion, I love it.
More things to do and earn some coins and bits on the side. We've been saying it for a long time. We've been championing this, so I think that's an excellent addition. I want to celebrate my achievements and better personalize my profile, as they say. I'm in. I'm down for that. Looking forward to it. And then we've got Rivals, their progress check-in. I've seen a lot of... I like how it shows... We were talking about the instant buys, weren't we? And how that pops up on the Rivals menu. And I think it's a good way to obviously get in-app purchases going and get new people playing Rivals. And then, wanting to improve their squad a little bit, spending the £4 to get one of their limited cards in. I think it's cool. I actually wasn't bothered about it at all, but the more I see and hear about it, I am interested to check it out. I think it might be a little fun thing on the side. I like that there's like leaderboards. Do you know what I mean? Like a
daily leaderboard sort of thing.
Yeah, and you can challenge anyone and you can challenge people similar level, or you can challenge your friends. You know, again, like this, the last thing was like side quests, like, and I'm like, oh, I just want to complete that, or let's just do a rivals, so I'm above Johnny for the next podcast, so I can go, hey, I'm the better rivals player.
That's not happening.
Or our mates are playing, and you can be like, oh, I'm level 9,600 in rivals now. Anyone fancy Argentinian Juniors versus River Plate? Like, you know, I like the sound of it. I like
I love it.
Expanding the offering. So yeah,
I mean, I freaking love Sorare, to be honest with you. So like, all this stuff is great. Like, I'm always waffling on about them all the time on WhatsApp, aren't I? All these, I get so into it. And I noticed they've announced the ELO ranking or rating below as well, which is what they use on the Sorare data leagues, private leagues, or whatever they were, to sort of make sure people played galleries or managers of similar standard, because you don't want to just like rock up and have to play freaking like Bellamar or something, do you? Like,
yeah,
like, you know, I consider myself to have a reasonably good gallery, but you know, I don't want to be playing like Florian Wirtz unique, Mbappe super rare, and you know, all these ridiculous cards. So I think it is a really good. It's showing a lot of promise. I'm excited to see what it's going to look like as a finished, polished article.
Yeah, now I can see that you're challenging people from anywhere for an overall rating. It'd be cool if I'm watching like a random game and I go, oh, what makes, you know, how some people are like, I'll just stick a couple of quid on the game, makes it a bit more interesting for me to watch, you know, stick a bet on, and they say, oh, I just have a quick challenge of someone, you know, put my rating on the line, put my ranking on the line, you know, I'm intrigued. I've gone from intrigued to mildly excited about rivals.
I'd like them to have, I don't know whether this would be encompassed in rivals, but like an area where I can see a leaderboard of like Everton fans, like they'd have an FPL, right, where you choose your favourite team.
Yeah.
I haven't done FPL for a couple of years, but like you choose your favourite team and you can see how you're getting on in terms of all fans of Everton, you know, or you can select like 3 or 4 teams. So I could have like Everton, I could have Columbus Crew, you know, all my sort of other teams I support, which I don't really support, but I follow, and just see how I rate out of those fans in certain things. I don't know how they choose what.
Yeah, specialized leaderboards. Yeah, maybe rewards for the top Everton fan, or rewards for the top San Jose Earthquakes.
That's kind of what collections is in a way. Like collections is kind of like that. It's rewarding your collection, but in terms of actual score of whatever competition they choose, I think that'd be cool to have, like sort of a bragging sort of thing.
I know, I agree. I think that will come, like different leaderboards and different segmented like competitions. You know, the only thing is, how much is it going to be aimed at new users compared to existing? Will it quickly like dry out of excitement for me? Because yeah, we'll see. But I am excited. But let's move on, because we're carving through the time here. And this was the main thing that everyone took away from it, is the Premier League winter competition. Season 1, season 2 is already in the pipeline, apparently. More to come. So £500,000 in cash prizes. It's not to one person. Don't be going thinking you're going to be half a millionaire. Spread out across the competitions, different weeks. Yeah, from November 25th to January 30th, long old 11 game weeks. Nearly 1,000 top lineups every week, winning prizes. And I guess the main thing you take away from this is that there's no card rewards, right? No card rewards.
Yeah.
All cash. All cold hard cash. Which solves their card rewards issue. They don't have to mint any cards. So, you know, it's not a problem from there. And they get around it by just offering cold hard cash, which always interests people, because you can buy cards for that if you want, or you can take it to the bank. So yeah, it's an interesting way to do things. I think that 500 grand figure instantly draws you in, right? It's like a Cap 270. So we're all used to building Cap 270 teams, captain bonuses, XP apply. The kicker is you need 4 new season limited cards, 3 rare, 3 super rare, or 2 unique to play. And you're allowed multiple entries, up to 3 entries per scarcity, and cash rewards down to 800 place, $8, which, you know, is double a limited threshold, isn't it? Limited. Oh no, $5, isn't it? It's £4.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, a bit more. I
mean, there's going to be some very high scores in this, but I love it. I love this type of thing. It's exciting, isn't it? I love it when they announce these big things that are sort of, that's going to appeal to a lot of new users, I think, and it's aimed at the Premier League in particular. Like Premier League is probably the biggest league in the world, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's gonna bring people onto the platform, and that's good for everyone. Whether you're in this competition or not, that is good for the game of Sorare if you're on it. So. I think it's great. One thing that I didn't see that was clearly noted on here is it something that if I enter a card in this, I can't use that card in a normal.
Yes, I believe that's the case. It's locked into this. Like the in-season tournaments on NBA at the moment. If you use your cards in there, you can't use them elsewhere.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not like the sort of Premier League 3 weekly thing where like you enter your Premier League weekly team, but also those 3 scores count for the monthly.
No, these are locked away, which I guess
does
some good, because I know a lot of people that the complaint you've seen about this is you're making me buy new season cards. You said I could use my old season cards forever. But one angle to look at is that the new season cards and powerful teams will be locked into this, meaning that you can use your old season cards in the traditional tournaments you use them in already, maybe with less opposition, and you'll be getting those collection scores and whatever bonuses on top.
And also, you can still use 2 non-new season rare cards and 1 non-new season limited card. Like it's not like they're completely redundant. It's a healthy, sustainable model where, you can still use the old cards in this new thing, but you also need to buy some new cards. Like that's a sustainable thing, right?
I think this is the thing that's made everyone, come to the realization that people have to keep spending some money. Existing users have to spend some more money, to keep a model.
You can't just buy 10 cards 3 years ago and
or just hope I'll just hope that new people come in. It's the way the cookie crumbles, and this sort of feels like you're paying to enter a competition with a chance to win a big prize, right? Sort of like a paid tournament almost. You're picking up a few extra cards to enter into this for a big cash prize. It feels a bit different in that it's just the money, and I guess this is achieving what Sorare wants in giving us more reasons to buy cards, reasons to buy those new season cards. I've seen the instant buy feature has been getting a lot of use as well because of this, and multiple entries as well, I guess, does that as well, right? Because if you've got the money and you want to enter more than one teams, or you want more strategies, like maybe I want to run Liverpool and Man City, maybe they're playing each other and I want to run both and hope that one team, then I'm covered for each side. Or maybe I want to run 3 Man City stacks, but I want to have them slightly tweaked. Like I want to play Haaland and Alvarez in one, and Haaland and Rodri in another, and different defensive options in them. And there's multiple tactics you can take in this now, isn't there? With multiple entries, you can run it in a lot of different avenues.
And how are your new season cards looking? Are you sort of, because you had a few already, right? I'm a little bit behind with the new season rare cards. I've got a couple. I've got Nicholas Jackson and Thomas Souček. So 2 is not a big enough squad to sort of get going with this. So I'm going to make a couple of purchases. But limited wise, I've got obviously a lot of Everton cards. I've got Bruno Fernandes, which is good. So I'll probably end up doing 2 limited entries and 1 rare entry if I can every week. How are you looking? I know you've got a few Everton cards, haven't you? Which is nice.
Well, I had 2 super rares. Obviously, you need 3, but it was Adam Webster and McBurney. So I took the opportunity to sell McBurney, take a little bit of profit.
You're not going to win anything on them, too, are you?
Yeah, and buying more. So I have 2 Everton players. So this is like my rare selection. They're not very joined up, you would say.
Yeah.
So I probably get another Everton player and run a 3-man Everton stack with 2 other rare cards.
Are you close to the sort of next power percentage up with your new Everton stack? Because it might be that you just need 1 more to sort of get a extra 1% potentially.
Yeah, I haven't looked, but I might consider getting 2 cards if that's the case, and going for 1%. I do like the idea of running like small stacks in these competitions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think unfortunately I put myself in the hole where I'm going to have to go Everton. So I'm already over the 1%. I need 40 more points to get to 100.
So you'd need to buy someone off auction would be 40 in like 90 days time.
Yeah.
Which would be, after the thing's finished, would it? Or just be about when it finishes? But moving forward, just in general, I guess that would make sense, right? If you've got 2 already.
I think I might look at maybe Garner and Calvert-Lewin, maybe something like that. It's 2 of the lower end ones.
Tarkowski's very cheap at the moment.
I just want to be involved, really, and then potentially I run a second team, maybe Silva and Wilson, or Silva and Visser. The thing is, I'm taking 2 other cards away, and it's going to be goalies in most cases in the rare, definitely. How much do I want to plug into like a crap second team? It's so enticing to go, I might hit some of the cash, but definitely be 1. It'll probably be 3 Everton players, unfortunately. In limited, I've got 2 goalies, so it's a bit easier to build from there. I've got Anana and Pickford.
Who's your rare goalkeeper?
I haven't got one.
So you'd have to get a Premier League rare goalkeeper, would you?
Well, no, because you only need 3, don't you?
Yeah, but do the other 2 players not also need to be Premier League players?
Oh, I've got Premier League non this season. I've got Neto, and I've got someone else. I've got Leno.
You've still got options then.
Yes, so I've got options, but we'll see. Again, it's looking like a Pickford, Tarkowski. I'll probably end up running 2 limited teams, but it's exciting, and I want to be involved. I don't want to miss out. And the instant buys feature is actually another reason for this is quite good, because you get a new season bonus, like the collector's bonus, straight in, don't you? So if you're trying to aim for like that 2% hit or the 3% hit, instant buy is quite an easy way to go instead of fighting over the auctions with everyone at the moment. So another unforeseen success of instant buy. Yeah, I am excited for it. It's the dream. It's like that lottery dream, isn't it, of trying to chase a big win.
Exactly. And where's the reward pool again? Show me the reward pool of the cash. First prize, £1,000.
1,500 in rare. And this is each game week. There's 11 game weeks, right?
Yeah, that's a really impressive total prize pool, isn't it?
It is. If you pick up like an 11th to 20th and then a 31st to 40th in like consecutive weeks, that's $400 straight off there.
And how drunk exactly am I going to need to get you so that you buy a super rare Premier League team?
I actually sold off at McBurney's today, so I'm down to 1. There's no way I could even.
And he doesn't play.
Yeah, so it's not going to happen.
So very drunk is what you're saying.
Very drunk.
Okay, I'll bear that in mind.
Do you like that they use cap 270? I think it's nice to have some form of.
It needs to be a cap. There needs to be a cap, but I'm glad they've made it the highest cap because you want people to still be able to use 1 or 2 of their best players. If you made it at 240, it's basically impossible to have 1 really good player in, isn't it? Like you couldn't get a Rodri in a cap 240 team unless you had absolute shite as your other players. So I think it is good to have that 270. So it's not just 5 absolute studs, but you can probably get 1 really good stud, 2 very good players, and then 2 semi-decent players. So yeah, I like that. I like 270.
Yeah, I haven't looked at Everton's fixture schedule over Christmas, but I guess it's 11 game weeks that it's going to be pretty even for everyone over the balance, isn't it?
It's the third of the season, isn't it? So you like to think you're going to have a sort of mixture. And
I'd like to think I'd probably end up with 2 teams that I'd like basically build around and aim that. Unfortunately, one of them's going to be Everton.
I've been doing some little shopping sprees, looking down the what's for sale at the moment because I need to obviously buy a couple of rares at least. I'll probably run a full Everton limited stack. Well, not a full Everton limited stack, but 3 of the new season Everton cards in 1 team, and then I'll try and do like a mixture for the other team. So I'd imagine I'll do 2 limiteds and a rare. I think you'll do 1 limited and 2 rares potentially. But I do need Tarkovsky's very cheap. I mean, he's like 50 quid rare at the moment for a new season card, 50 to 60 quid, which is very cheap. But yeah, I'm going to do some shopping.
Damn, I needed 84 for my Fabianski, and he kept a clean sheet, but he didn't get the 84 required, sadly. 66, so we missed out on rare ETH again.
Well, I got my limited ETH because Pedro Gonçalves scored a second half penalty and got 93.
Excellent.
It's
not a cheap thing to do now, as it was like a week ago, right? I had a few Premier League cards for sale at quite elevated prices, and they just went yesterday, 4 or 5 hours after this announcement. So yeah, there's definitely interest in those cards. The auctions are definitely going to be hot, aren't they? So it's definitely going to cost you to,
because they don't do instant buy for rares yet, do they, as well? So those auctions for the rare Premier League cards will certainly be hot property.
Yes, it's going to definitely going to kick off. It's going to cost you, but I think it's good fun, and it's the type of thing I like being involved at. And it's an extra competition. It's another place to use cards, especially in the limited level. Rare, not so much, because I haven't got as many rares to go around. But in limited, it's always nice to have somewhere else to stick, especially the prices they're at the moment,
And there's so much Premier League Christmas football. It's just going to add that extra bit of fun, isn't it?
There is a few games knocked out, isn't there? But they've got the Boxing Day ones, which, love a bit of Boxing Day football. Let's have a bit of rivals and a bit of winter season one. So, yeah, sad for Brighton, because Brighton are always quite a good stackable.
Yeah, they got 2 games in there. Didn't notice that. And Man City, so that's saying Man City Brentford has fallen, is not even going to be in the whole.
They're in their Club World Cup or whatever.
Right, yeah, I see.
And Newcastle,
that's a good fixture for them as well. You'd like to think, wouldn't you? Newcastle Forest. So
I think Newcastle would have had a double game week, which is why they knocked that one off. But all in all, I'm excited for it. It will make me buy a few more new season cards because I want to be involved. So for that point, it's achieved its goal. So yeah, excited for that.
I love it. I love it.
Right, let's move on, because I think people have probably heard a lot of chat about the updates. Let's raise some more money for our charity pot with another contest. I will give you the challenge of a moustached toilet tip of the week. I want a tip for a top scoring player from you of the weekend. And he must have a moustache is my criteria for the fans.
Okay.
1-on-1, loser puts more money in the pot.
Can't wait for you to put, you haven't put your last week's money in the pot yet, so I don't know how much I believe that you'll end up putting money in the pot.
Yeah,
so.
that's all right. You know where I live. I can't get away with it.
That's true. I'll just break your other arm, mate, so make sure you get that done, all right? So I'll start if you like. So I've gone for, as my player, Murillo Kaquiria. I think you'll probably remember him from his time at Lokomotiv Moscow.
Yes, obviously.
And so in this photo here, it doesn't look like he's got a particularly good moustache, but I had a look on Sorare because I was.
We are Mo Rare Thursday Club. You can't be giving me a disappointing moustache to open up with. Yeah. I'm gonna have to see more.
And he does have a beautiful moustache in some of his cards, if I can locate them.
Historically nice moustache is what you're saying.
Yeah. Here we go. Look at that. That is fantastic. A little type of line, like a sort of Mexican. I mean, I'm loving this Mexican thing, but do you know what I mean? Like that's a strong moustache. It's like he's drawn it on with a pencil. I love it.
Okay, so you're putting up Murillo.
Yeah, I am. So in terms of his scores, he now plays for the new team that have come on to the game. So Palmeiras. Obviously the owners of Endrick, the Wonder Boy. But yeah, he's a very good scorer, and they have a decent-ish fixture. I think they're playing at home to Internacional, I think it is, from my memory. But yeah, historically a very good scorer, capability of scoring some big dark greeners, and yeah, he's my man. He's my man for the occasion.
Oh yeah, that's some decent L5. All right, so obviously it's the highest score, highest raw score of the weekend. So you've gone for a Murillo Kaquiria, who I'd never heard of until you've just put him up.
Never heard of him. You don't remember him from his Lokomotiv days? He was a stud.
I do not remember him. from his Locomotive days. No, I'm going to put up Omar Marmouche. Once formed a lethal part of my AFCON Sorare team. Had a bit of a poor run, but he's moved on and is now on fire. SO5 scores recently, apart from tonight's 71-minute 42 score against HJK. He's been really good in the league, you can see here. And I think that's a reasonably impressive moustache. It, molds well with his chin strap as well.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. I'll give him that. And they're playing who they got? Werder Bremen on the weekend, isn't it?
He has got on the weekend. Is
that Werder Bremen? Yeah.
Bremen away.
Oh, solid. Aren't you starting a Bremen limited stack as well in the Bundesliga?
Exactly. I was about to say I'm starting a Bremen stack in their new season German special as well.
But either way, you're a winner then. If Bremen do well, you won.
Yeah.
And if Utrecht done well, then Marmouche.
Bremen murder them and I win a prize, then happy days. But if Marmouche breaks my special weekly heart, I should make you put more money in the pot. So we have whoever your guy was that used to be a Locomotive stood against Omar Marmouche in the first moustache toilet tip of the week.
And also his name is very similar to Moustache. He's got Mo in his name. And I've got Murillo as well. So we've got Mo-Rillo and Marmouche.
It's almost like that was planned, which it wasn't.
It wasn't planned, and it's worked out beautifully.
No. That's exciting. And then coming up this weekend, we've got we're getting up to the international break again, aren't we? Which everyone massively dislikes.
Yeah. Just as we think they're done, they're back again.
Just when we think we've got rid of them, they're back again. But yeah, lots of. Have we still got A League? We still got J League. Sorry, we still got.
I think the J League's coming to an end. I know the J2 League's coming to an end this week, so I'm following them because I want my bloody Shimizu boys back. But yeah, I think everything's coming to an end now over in Asia, isn't it? Japan, Korea. We've obviously still got the Asian Champions League. It's still going on a little bit afterwards. Although, does Korea split? It does, doesn't it? Doesn't it do some weird little split into the last 8 games? Or the top 8 teams play each other a couple of times at the end. I can't really remember. It's a bit.
I know my goalie's got a game. But we've still got the playoffs in the MLS, which is starting to dwindle numbers as well.
Yeah,
so that's my.
But no American team this week because LA won both games, didn't they? So they don't have a game. Is that right? Or
yeah. So we got Tottenham Wolves as the early game for the Premier League on Saturday.
Yep.
Spurs on very good form. You'd be hard pressed to bet against them.
I mean, I'll be honest. They were going to be my little. I was going to mention that I feel like Wolves might do them. I've got a feeling, and mainly because Tottenham obviously had that, bit of a shit show of a sort of red card injury performance against Chelsea the other day. They're going to be missing Maddison. They're going to be missing Van der Ven. They're going to be missing Romero. Wolves have looked sneaky all right this season.
Yeah.
Sneaky all right.
Neto out injured still?
Neto, yeah, that's true. So they're obviously missing one of their key men as well. I don't know. I can see something happening.
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot more eyes on the Premier League now as people scout for those players and teams they want to invest in for the tournament there. So we've got Palace, Everton as well, which it could be a tight game, I think.
It could be a tight game.
You could see 1-0 either way.
Yeah, they're missing Elise, who's obviously a key man for them, but they got Eze back. So it's kind of like a lot rests on Eze's shoulders, isn't it? I think we've got a reasonably good record at Palace, but I'm kind of excited for how this Manchester United-Luton game could go. It's written in the stars that you're going to lose that game. I can just see it. I can see it happening now.
They weren't very good against Fulham last week, but you could see 1-1. I could see United taking the lead and then
Harry Maguire own goal, 90th minute.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. They did have some good players, and United are so hard to get right on Sorare at the moment because they're just, there's so many injuries, so many holes to be filled, and they're just leaking goals. So you can't rely on them from a defensive stack point of view. I mean,
the one game you want when you're having a shit time, right, is Luton at home. I mean, Everton lost to Luton at home, so I'm not going to go too much into, lambasting Luton because they obviously got to Premier League for a reason. But if you're looking to get a morale boosting win, right, you want Luton or Sheffield United at the moment. So I like to think from a Man United supporters perspective that you're going to get the win there quite comfortably.
Copenhagen was meant to be a morale boosting fixture to have as well, and that went down the Swanee. I think we can safely say Arsenal are probably going to beat Burnley. And there's plenty of attacking options that you can pick from there.
Injured though. Saka off injured midweek.
I think he's going to play still though, isn't he? But
yeah, he does seem to go off like injured like all the time now, doesn't it? And then suddenly he's just starting on the weekend. So
I think an Arsenal attacking stack has got lots of good possibilities this weekend. Burnley, they've shown flashes though, but Arsenal away is not something I'd be wanting any part of. Bournemouth, Newcastle. You'd think Newcastle would turn them over, but they had midweek. I always wary of teams after they've had a midweek fixture and the other team hasn't, especially when they're travelling away. That's Newcastle down to the coast.
That's about as long a distance you can get, really, isn't it?
And Bournemouth have got some good players, and I think they've got a bit about them. I considered getting a Bournemouth stack for the competition, but they are likely to get a pasting at any given time.
I'll be honest. I think Newcastle will absolutely dick them. Bournemouth, I don't think really want to play for their manager. I think he's one big loss away from getting the sack. I know their owner came to that game, which they finally won. It was their first win of the season. So he kind of gave himself another couple of games there. And I think, that game when Newcastle won 8-0 or 9-0, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Some ridiculous thing. That, I think, was after a Champions League game. So we could see a bounce back absolute dicking, I reckon.
I would go 2-1 Newcastle. Anthony Gordon's looked like a good.
Bournemouth doing some good players though, like you say. Like Bournemouth have actually bought a very good sort of group of players this season, I thought, and they've struggled a lot more than I thought they would because they did okay last season, didn't they?
Yeah. And we've got a heavy Sunday slate because the international break, isn't it? The next week, so there's no Monday game. Brighton, Sheffield United. Sheffield United at home is a plum tie for anyone. Brighton have had a midweek game. They beat Ajax again.
Yep.
I think Brighton are one of those funny middling teams everyone says is a good stack to get hold of, isn't it? They've got young.
They're very good stack. But being in the play sharper group, like the Brighton guy doing the lineups is having an absolute mare. He's rotating so much, and not just because Europe. He's doing some random shit, and they've had a few injuries as well. But I mean, they should absolutely batter Sheffield United. I'd say Sheffield United are the worst team in the Prem after Luton.
You're right. It's very hard to predict who's going to play because I think Estupinian was back on the bench today.
Yeah, that's right.
Milner went off injured, but there's Ferguson, Matoma. Ansu Fati's finally looking good. He's taking off.
Pedro as well. He's doing well.
It's impossible to line them up at the moment, isn't it? That's the problem.
Dinger got a goal and assist tonight. They've got a lot of really good, we've talked about before in an earlier show, haven't we? They've got a lot of depth and they just pluck players out of nowhere. They've got this new centre mid that's like a Badebe or something like that. He's a really good player. He's a very, very solid player. And he's just come from nowhere and suddenly playing centre mid. It's keeping that Mahoud Dahoud out of the team. They got Gross. I think Solly March is out for a little while, isn't he?
Yeah, Gross. I got his Sorare actually, so he's one that I always keep an eye on.
Belieber's the guy I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a believer.
Really, really nice team. But yeah, I think they will get the win, obviously, this weekend, which isn't too much of a crazy prediction. But we got Liverpool-Brentford as well. I think Liverpool are probably an underrated team on Sorare. Looking because they had a bit of a struggle in terms of card quality to value. If you were looking at this winter tournament, I won't buy any of them because there's absolutely no way I want them in my gallery. The only time I ever won one, I sold it instantly. But I think there is good opportunities there for a stack.
Luis Diaz has just got his dad back, so he's going to bang a hat probably on the weekend.
Yeah.
Well, they lost tonight, didn't they? They lost 3-2, which is always nice to see. And they went all the way to France to lose. Because they did.
Right, all the way to France to lose. I like Brentford. They're very hit and miss, though, aren't they? I've got Visas Rare. I could see a 2-1 Liverpool win here. I think Liverpool have been a slightly easier to predict who's going to play recently, which is kind of another reason why you might have an advantage on a stack of Liverpool players going forward over like a Man City stack, where they've got the Club World Championship going up in that December tournament and things. And it's like, who can ever predict what Pep's going to do? You know, Man United might be crap right now, but they are probably quite easy to predict with their injuries. They're going to run out the same team all the time because it's all they've got. So that's where like a Liverpool or a Man United might have an advantage over like a Man City or who else rotates a lot? Chelsea, Brighton. We got Villa, Fulham, which feels like 2-1 home win again, all over it. Villa look really good.
I'm just going to see because Villa play tonight. I haven't seen their result yet. Did they win or they were playing at home to somebody? Villa at home to. God, there's so many Europa League games, conference games. Oh, they beat AZ Alkmaar 2-1 at home.
There you go.
So, you know, they're going to be, and they're at home in the week in Europe, right? So they're not going to be travelling far, and they're playing at home in the Premier League. So they can't use, I guess having multiple fixtures is always tough, but they're not having to travel from fucking Ukraine back over to Villa for the weekend. So, yeah, that should be an easy win. Although Fulham are a well-organised team as well. But I think Fulham are really struggling to put the ball in the net.
Fulham lost to Man United, mate. So that tells you everything you need to know. If you lose to Man United at the moment,
they've obviously lost Mitrovic, which was their main goal scorer, right? And Raul Jimenez is not doing the business in terms of scoring, and they've got that other guy, the ex-Spurs, and Carlos Vinicius as well, who's also not doing particularly well. So, yeah, you'd like to think that's an easy home win there. Some
more young, exciting talent on that Aston Villa team. I flipped a Digne actually on the announcement yesterday, made £8, which was massive excitement. We got West Ham Forest. Forest looked a bit lively at times actually. Alanga's starting to look pretty decent for them now. Changed their goalie, haven't they? Turner's been dropped for any Turner holders. He went in the bin, and Odris yeah, he's in. He looked decent. West Ham hit and miss. They've got Europe as well, haven't they? So
hit and miss. Yeah,
Moyes is under pressure again.
I was just about to say, like, I've seen some, sneaky little rumours on Twitter saying he's, not far away from getting the sack, and I always feel so sorry for Moyes because he's done a really good job, and like now you see Man United where they are as well. You kind of realise how difficult it was for him because they've been on a downward spiral ever since Ferguson left, really, haven't they? But like, he's done a good job. He won them a freaking trophy last year. Was in charge at least when they won a trophy. But yeah,
they won tonight, so they are top of their group. Yeah. So if we were looking at terms of getting West Ham players in for now and for this winter tournament, then you could say they look like they're still going to be in Europe as well. So come the turn of the year, after this tournament's over, if you've still got your West Ham cards, you should at least get midweek utility out of them as well. Which probably, before we talked about this game, I hadn't thought about, but actually probably makes West Ham Limited or Res a lot more attractive. Because when this tournament ends, I'll be going to see a drop-off in the value of the new season cards if like season 2 isn't set up and ready to go and it's also Premier League.
Then there's also that risk, I guess, that maybe your player would play in Europe, but then not play in the Premier League thing on the weekend sort of thing. So there is also that risk.
Yeah, I know. Like goalies, they rotate, don't they?
Yeah, Thomas Suchek does seem to be quite. He's obviously the rare that I won a few weeks ago. So he's my other new season card other than Nicholas Jackson. He does get rotated a lot, but I don't like to sell him because he plays really well for Czech Republic and he's got really good international utility. So he's really undervalued at the moment. He's like 0.035 or something stupid.
There must be some West Ham players that play, midweek and weekend. Like
you've got like the obvious ones like Bowen, right? He's like key man for them, but he's
Ward-Prowse, Kudos,
yeah,
Kufal maybe. There's got to be some. So yeah, now I'm thinking about it. West Ham are quite an intriguing idea for this winter tournament because you should have midweek utility to protect their price a bit when it ends. Because then I don't know if they said season 2 is actually Premier League again. I guess they'll probably ride the hot hands and stick with it, but.
Yeah, true.
I'm not sure that was actually announced, whether it would still be Premier League. So, yeah, something like that. I'm interested. Maybe I've convinced myself into a West Ham Limited being my second team there. And then we finish with Chelsea, Man City, the big one of the weekend, I guess. Chelsea have been absolutely all over the place. Man United Mark II, they finally got a win, but they needed Tottenham to go down to 9 men and play 7 players on the halfway line for them to finally get over the line. Man City are a bit of a juggernaut. Lots of rotation there, so hard to predict. Chelsea got a lot of young players, though, which, everyone, when you first join something like Sorare, aren't you? Like, oh, yeah, get the young ones in for the future, get those wonder kids in. So Chelsea have just been buying every wonder kid in Europe and forgot to put any experience with them.
I think, like you said, they obviously got their win, didn't they? Well, they've won a few games, but like they got their big win against Spurs. But when it was 11 versus 11, Tottenham were all over them. So yeah, it was a bit of a sort of false win in a way. Although Tottenham blew themselves in the foot, but yeah, Man City should smash them. And they rested a lot of their better players, didn't they, for the midweek Champions League? So all the big guns are going to be coming back in. And, I saw someone else mention this on another show, but like no one's even said about the fact they haven't got Kevin De Bruyne at the moment. Like they're doing so well with who they've got. Like everyone's loving Doku. Doku's doing amazing. You've got Grealish just sort of waiting in the wings. Bernardo Silva's looking incredible. Haaland's banging the goals. Rodri's the best player in the bloody world. It's like everyone's doing amazing. It's like, also, we've got Kevin De Bruyne just over there. He's just got a bit of an ankle injury, but he's probably the best player in the world, so he's going to come back in a bit. And Dick Ewell as well. So, yeah, it's I'd like to see that Man City will be dicking them there.
Yeah, Cole Palmer, though, they let go, and I think he's been really, really good at Chelsea.
Oh, it's been great. He's taken their penalties as well, so it's good to have those. If you own him, good to have those decisives in terms of that.
If you backed him on that transfer, it's come off nicely for you, hasn't it? I
was really surprised to see them let him go. I wonder if he had some sort of disagreement. I mean, it was a lot of money, right? It was like 45, 50 mil for him, which is a lot for a sort of unproven young player. But like, yeah, he's a good player. He's like Foden, isn't he? He plays very similar to Foden.
Yeah, I think. I got a Man City stack, so I'll probably be looking at in this winter tournament to use those Man City cards as a supplement as the older cards, so they're not new season.
Yeah,
I think the Solaris are last season, aren't they? Were they last season or are they this season's ones?
I think they're this season, aren't
they? If they're this season's, then when's Kevin De Bruyne back?
Right. Oh, you got Kevin De Bruyne, right? And you got Bruno's as well. So you look at Man United's 23-24 stack on there and see if he shows on there for you.
23-24. No.
Okay, so they are last year's. I guess they were linked to last year's best players, right? So they probably were last year's.
Yeah, there they are. They're last season's. Okay, so no, they won't count. But yeah, I look to slot them in around the other players. I think that's the tactic to go forward for. Maybe a little Rodri and a little Haaland in with my now thought of West Ham stack. Pity that he plays for Chelsea. Yeah, it's a random transfer, but he's looked very good there. Yeah, so that's the Premier League for this weekend. I will be keeping a tighter eye on it because, I need to find that second team to run for a stack. Is there anyone else with an amazing fixture this weekend? Bayern Munich, obviously, have got an absolute plum at home, haven't they?
Yeah. Pretty much every fixture for them is plum. Dortmund away was plum for them. They absolutely dick them. So I don't think is.
But there might be rotation in there after a midweek. You always get that, but it's before an international break, so I think people will probably happily run their players into the ground now before they send them off, don't they? Hope they get a little ankle tweak and don't have to go.
And it is getting to that point now as well, isn't it? Where we're getting into the real meat of the season, and Europe's happening, where a lot more rotation starts happening. And you look at those top 3, 4, 5, all those top teams there, those top fixtures, all of them had midweek fixtures. So PSV there, have got a great fixture, but they played. I think they played tonight. Did they, or did they play yesterday? So it's just risky, isn't it? And I've got a few of them players, and it's always just like, could they just randomly get benched? It's such a I almost like it when they go out of Europe, so I don't have to bloody worry about it anymore.
Like Brighton, great. Barca, great. Celtic.
Union
Berlin are on their knees, aren't they?
Union Saint-Gilloise have got a great fixture as well against bottom of the league, but they've played tonight, got beat 3-0 in Switzerland, so you just never know what's quite going to happen, really.
Yeah, but that's a lot of big clubs, champion Europe up there, with really solid fixtures, should be really competitive. Looks like I've actually got a few players up on the top of the chart for a change. So Man United Luton, I'm definitely running a Man United stack as well to get my heart broken with an overall score of like 165.
Prepare for heartbreak, mate. Prepare.
Yeah. Exciting, lots to look forward to. But we're going for an hour and 20 minutes now. So
beautiful. I've enjoyed every second of it.
I think, we've had the weekly Everton, the Moustache toilet tip of the week, the product roadmap roundup. We've got through a lot. We've had a little suggestion for a Crystal Palace West Ham for a stack. Ezzy's back. Maybe Palace defence. Ezzy, Kudos, Bowen and Johnson. Yeah, West Ham is now stuck in my mind since we talked about it. I think West Ham might be my second lineup. I might go and have a cheeky little look around the market.
Does Kudos have new West Ham cards yet? Let's have a look. Looks like he does, actually. Because he joined quite late.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does. So because they're relatively new. He's one of the ones that was brought onto it late in the game. So they've just released a couple of new Everton cards as well. They've released Jack Harrison and Chermiti, and they're only on like edition sort of 20 of 1,000 at the moment. So I think Kudos is one of them. So he could be a cheeky little option. Also, he needs to cheer up in his photo, mate. Come on.
Yeah, it's very glum, doesn't he? Yeah. But, good player.
He started scoring. Did you see that goal he scored in the weekend? Like
very nice, wasn't it?
He's a fucking good player. Everton almost signed him the year. He wanted
Everton are linked to everyone, mate.
But he actually came out in public and said, "I want to join Everton," and then Alex wouldn't let him leave because they'd sold Anthony to Man United and they wanted to keep him.
There we go. We've gone full circle. We're back to Everton. Your cat's trying to get in the window. Yeah. I think that is a good place to end it. I'm going to go off hunting for West Ham stacks now. Thanks, Red or Dead, for confirmation. It's a good idea.
I'm going to beat you there.
Yeah, all right. We're in a West Ham off for the rest of the evening. Thank you for everyone that has joined us and paid attention. Thank you so much. Thanks for staying. If you're still here, can you please drop a like and a subscribe and all that vibe? Makes us feel very happy and warm inside heading into the weekend. We appreciate your support as always, and we will see you again next week. Good luck for the weekend game week. We'll see you all on the other side. But for now, Viva the Thursday Club.
Up the toffees.